And here in the commission room.
Thank you, Madam President. You do have before you the report for the Utility Enforcement Division, which reflects that division's activities for August 2020. The railway safety staff visited 10 rail carriers during August and performed the various inspections that are reflected in the report before you. The railway safety staff also performed 10 railroad bridge observations, 9 roadway worker protection observations, and 6 roadway maintenance machine observations during the month of August. Notably, there were no non-compliant conditions that were cited during those observations. The motive, power, and equipment inspector from Railway Safety visited 7 rail carriers during the month of August and inspected some 986 units. There were 5 incidents reported by the National Response Center in June. 2 of the incidents were highway grade crossing collisions where vehicles were struck by trains. Their services section in the area of intrastate authority, that section processed some 12 intrastate applications for operating authority and issued 4 new authorities. That was in addition to the other matters that they handled that are reflected in the report you have before you. The section responded to some 131 inquiries regarding intrastate authority during the month. In the area of insurance, the motor carrier staff processed 304 insurance filings of the various types reflected in your report. They also responded to some 244 inquiries during the month of August. Moving on to UCR activities, or Unified Carrier Registration. The section processed the UCR matters that are reflected in your report, and they responded to some 166 inquiries of various nature. As of August 31, there were 7,585 Alabama carriers, or 80% of our carriers registered for 2020 UCR, with 1,855 that still need to register. We have now reached our payment cap for the 2020 UCR registration year. Also in August, the staff mailed 11 letters pertaining to what are called focused anomaly reviews, or FARs, for 2020. The total of $7,544 was collected from FARs for the month. As far as some of the developments from the August 2020 UCR Board of Directors meeting, it's noteworthy that the 2021 UCR registration year will begin on October 1, 2020, which is just commenced. The 2019 UCR registration will close to all motor carriers on September 30, but will remain open to state agencies until December 31. Various annual reports and tariff filings during the month of August. With respect to field services, that section staff inspected a wastewater system managed by Alabama Wastewater Systems INC during August. They also inspected 2 wastewater systems managed by Community Utilities of Alabama, located in Leesburg and Cedar Point. During the month of August, both of those systems were found to be performing as designed and with no defects at the time of the inspection. Staff also observed 2 construction projects performed by Alabama Power in the Pike Grove area during the month of August. And this has been the case during the pandemic in particular. During August, staff in the field services section continued to take advantage of virtual training opportunities. Unless you have questions, that concludes the report for the Utility Enforcement Division.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And once again, thank you to Janice Hamilton. And I'd also just like to say thank you to our Alabama trucking family. They've done a great job. They've definitely been an essential during essential services during the virus. And I know my family appreciates being able to get our groceries or whatever else we might need that comes from a trucker. So thank you to the Alabama trucking family. We appreciate it. If there's anything, since we're also online today, if there's anyone that needs our help at the Public Service Commission, please call us. We'll be glad to work through any problems that any truckers might have. And I'll put the number out, 334-242-5207. We'll get you a direct answer. And Miss Debbie Williams will transfer you to wherever you might need to go at the commission. But we want to make sure that these essential workers in our state have whatever is necessary to keep on trucking. So thank you. And next, we will move on to our electricity division report. And that report today will be given by Mr. John Free, our division director, and Mr. Chad Mason, the attorney with the Electricity Policy Division. And before they begin, I hope I'm not taking any of your presentation away today, but I just want to thank Alabama Power Company during Hurricane Sally for the total and quick response there. I've just received some of the numbers. In fact, I did not receive them until this morning, but I thought I'd let you know that a total of 680,000 customers were impacted. They were out for an approximate length of 4 days. There were 3,650, that's a lot of folks, that were total outside resources utilized to get the power back on in the state very quickly. And just to let you know, the list of states where we had outside resources coming into our state were Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana, Michigan, Maryland, Louisiana, Arkansas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Texas, Illinois, and Kentucky. And I think I got all of those abbreviations correct. But we would like to thank all of those states that came in to help us out during a very impactful storm. As Commissioner Oden said, don't let the number confuse you. Obviously, that storm was devastating to the Gulf Coast area here in Alabama, and they categorized it as a low category, but I can tell you the folks that were down there said it was quite a storm the way it just hung around. So thank you to all the different states that were available for us here in Alabama and helped out. And with that, I'll turn it over to you all.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. You have before you the Electricity Policy Division's agenda dated September 29th, 2020. The first item is the division's normal monthly report on rates RSC and ECR under dockets 18117, 18416, and 18148. For rate RSC, the staff performed the normal monthly examination of the books and records of Alabama Power Company and determined the reprojected weighted return on average retail common equity was 6.50% for the 12 months ended December 31st, 2020. This reprojection is based on 8 months of actual data for the period January through August and 4 months of budget data for the period September through December. For rate ECR, the staff performed a review of Alabama Power's energy costs for the month of August 2020 and determined an under-recovered amount of approximately $2 million. Pending any questions you may have on RSC or ECR, I will turn it over to Mr. Chad Mason for the next docket item we have on our agenda this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. The next item on our agenda is under docket U5348 concerning the Alabama Municipal Electric Authority, or AMEA, on September 15th, 2020, in accordance with section 1150A25. Sorry about that. Section 1158.25 of the Code of Alabama, AMEA filed a petition with the Commission for approval of the currently effective Uniform Systems of Accounts as the accounting regulations for AMEA. The staff recommends approval.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes.
Commissioner Bieber?
Yes. Commissioners, that completes our report this morning.
Thank you all, appreciate it. And I tell you, as I looked at the sheet, I forgot to give several other pieces of information, but actually the number of poles that had to be replaced after the storm, there were 400 poles that had to be replaced. There were 1,500 miles of wire that were replaced, and there were over 500 transformers replaced. So when you talk about the damage, that's some serious damage, and we appreciate all of the people that were involved, including the power company and other utilities during that storm to get things back on for the people of our Gulf Coast. And next, we have our legal division report, and that is actually given by our chief of staff and legal counsel.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm just like a bad penny, I just keep turning up. You do have before you the legal division agenda dated September 29th, 2020. There are 12 items on that agenda. All of those items are very straightforward, and with your permission, I will present those 12 items for a single vote.
Yes.
The first item is under docket 32094. This is the petition of Greenworks LLC of Coleman, Alabama, to suspend operations on motor carrier certificate 4741 for a period of 1 year. Recommended is a grant of that request. The next item is under docket 32989. This is a petition of Elite Transportation MS LLC of Shibuda, Mississippi, for cancellation of motor carrier certificate P648. The recommendation is cancellation is requested. Next item is under docket 33022. It's the unopposed motor carrier application of Robert A. Sutherland, DBA Eastern Shore Shuttle of Fairhope, Alabama, for a certificate to transport passengers and their baggage. The applicant waived their right to a report and recommended order at the hearing, so the recommendation is for a grant. Next item is under docket C-19824. It's the petition of Calera Construction Company, LLC of Calera, Alabama, for approval of cargo self-insurance. Everything is in order there, so the recommendation is approval of that request. The next item is under docket C-19731. This is the petition of On Time Taxi, LLC of Montgomery, Alabama, for reinstatement of motor carrier certificate FNP A-80, which was revoked due to the petitioner's failure to maintain proper proof of liability insurance coverage. That problem has been rectified, so the recommendation is for a grant and reinstatement. Next item is under docket C-19786. It's a petition of Bedrock INC DBA Tri-State Motor Transit Company of Joplin, Missouri, for reinstatement of motor carrier certificate F2824, which was revoked due to the petitioner's failure to maintain proper proof of liability insurance coverage. The petitioner has rectified those problems, so the recommendation is for a grant and reinstatement. Next item is under docket C-19799. It's a petition of Divine Express LLC of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for reinstatement of motor carrier certificate F5092, which was revoked due to the petitioner's failure to maintain proper proof of liability and cargo self-insurance coverage. That problem has been rectified, and so the recommendation is for a grant and reinstatement. The next item is under docket 32800. It's the petition of Winds LLC of Prattville, Alabama, to suspend operations on a motor carrier certificate 5099 for a period of 1 year. The recommendation is for a grant of that request. The next item is under docket 17292. It's the petition of Harold M. Leslie, DBA Leslie Trucking Company of Saraland, Alabama, for cancellation of motor carrier certificate 2989. Recommendation is for a grant of that request. Next item is under dockets C-19798 and 33051. This is a transfer motor carrier certificate 4042 from Decatur Taxi Company, LLC of Decatur, Alabama, to Custom Transportation, LLC of Decatur, Alabama, and reinstatement of motor carrier certificate 4042 for the sole purpose of transferring in good standing. The recommendation is for reinstatement of certificate 4042 for the sole purpose of transferring it in good standing and approval of the transfer application that was submitted. Next item is under docket 33040. It's a show cause proceeding for Trans Cargo Express LLC of Hialeah, Florida, for failure to respond to audit inquiries for 2020 UCR. Transcargo has now responded to that inquiry and has rectified their issues, and so their suspension is due to be lifted, and that is the recommendation. And the last item is under docket U5350. This is a petition of Clark County, Alabama, to utilize a 311 dialing code to serve residents of Jackson, Grove Hill, Fulton, Thomasville, Coffeyville, and Clark County residents outside of those municipalities. The dialing code will be utilized to provide those residents with direct contact to various city and county services such as police, fire, animal control, and other essential services. Recommendation is for approval for Clark County to seek usage of the 311 dialing code from the appropriate provider as requested. And that concludes the 12 items on the River Division agenda. The recommendation is again approval of all those items.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes.
Commissioner Reaper?
Yes.
And lastly, Madam President, I have the administrative agenda that was circulated yesterday. I recommend approval of all those items.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes.
Commissioner Reaper?
Yes.
That is all I have, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other new business to bring before the commission?
I know I took a little bit, Madam President, but I did want in, Judge is still out there. I guess Judge Representative, but it has been an honor to know him and appreciate you staying around and listening to some of our business. But it was an honor for me to actually serve with another family member of his for 14 years in the legislative body, and a great family. But I did want to mention the Allens have put generations in service to this country, to this state, and we appreciate your family and all that it's done for the state of Alabama, and thank you, Madam President, for bringing such a fine individual.
Well, and I'll give one more point of interest, and that is I learned this morning that Representative Allen and his father, Senator Allen, are the only father-son legislators to ever serve at the same time. We've had father and son legislators, but never serving at the same time, so I've been told. So thank you again. Appreciate it. All right, any other new business to bring before the commission? With there being no more new business, let me remind you that our next regularly scheduled commission meeting is Tuesday, November the 3rd of 2020. When you're putting that on your calendar, you may see that that's also election day, so make sure you also put it on there as a commission day. Everyone, please remember to exercise your right to vote and then come to the commission meeting. Just a quick reminder, please turn your phones back on. Don't forget to turn them on. And with there being no further business,